Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. That's active noise cancelling. Let's see how it stacks up. Now, Klipsch is known to be an American audiophile brand, and I have been using Klipsch for a while, including their bookshelf and their floor standing speakers, as well as notably their 15-inch monster of a subwoofer. I think it was called the 115 SW, and that took up a lot of space. It stood 2 feet high, 2 feet wide, and more than 2 feet deep. So that was during my the whole home theater days. And today we have something a lot smaller from Klipsch, which is this T5 II ANC edition. And these are earbuds which you put in your ear. So a lot smaller, no wires like the subwoofer or the speakers that requires amps and power amps and whatever to control them. This is just it, built-in batteries and all. I'll go into detail on what I feel about this Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. Now, there is a previous edition which does not come with active noise cancelling. That is a lot cheaper, but this particular edition here is $299 and in Singapore it retails for 449 Singapore dollars, which is a lot more expensive than the Apple AirPods Pro that I'm holding in my hands here. Now, I will be doing slight comparison throughout the whole video to tell you a little bit more about the differences between these two. Now, I have also done a Ugreen earbuds test before. I think I'll try to link the video up here so that you can take a look at it. But these are cheap. These are like 1/10 the price of whatever you see here, actually less than the 10th. So, you know, every Klipsch T5 II ANC that you buy, you are probably going to get 10, 12 of these. But no active noise cancelling, and the functions and limitations are actually quite abound. So, but the sound is not too bad. I will also touch on the sound of the T5 II in a bit. Now, very quickly, I'll just run through the features and what the advertised functions are for this particular pair of earphones so that you can have a better understanding of what you're going to be getting for $299. Now, first off, there is the packaging. The packaging is pretty amazing. This is the whole retail packaging that you'll see. Now, I'm going to link a video and you can take a look at the packaging that they are sending over here. And this is the I think the VIP preview which they have sent me, and the video start playing. Oh, very, very cool stuff. Okay, but you may not see this, but this is going to be what you will be getting. The packaging is all very nice, very sturdy, hard pack, manual inside. It comes this way. The earbuds, you can actually just insert it in. After 1 second, take it out and it starts pairing with your phone. Now, most notable is this. The first thing that I noticed was actually all the ear tips that they are providing. A lot of earphones like the Apple AirPods Pro or even the Ugreen, they come with 3 pairs. So small, medium, large, and you try to find a fit, right? But these, they come with 6 pairs. Right? So you can really fine-tune the fit to your ears. And not only that, these are not circular. They're not completely round. They're slightly oval. And it is supposed to follow the shape of your ear canals so that it fits better. You're not trying to force something circular into a ear canal, which is actually slightly ovalish in size, in shape. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the build quality of this guy. Now, the casing is pretty, is made of some gunmetal. Well, it is actually metallic or plated or something, but it is hefty, right? I have a weighing scale here. So let me try to weigh it, right? So this is the Ugreen. The earbuds are inside, including the casing. It comes in at about 46 grams. This is the AirPods Pro. The earbuds are inside. And this comes out at 56 grams, thereabout. This is the Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. Earbuds are inside. The whole thing put down. It is over 100 grams. That is 101 grams. Now, you might be wondering, why do you need heavy headphones or earphones? But if you try to take out the earbuds and you try to measure the weight, okay, this is the Ugreen, 5.4 grams. Okay, you go on to the AirPods Pro. Let's weigh it, slightly bigger, but 5.3 grams, so about the same weight. Okay, so now you are worried about this monster of a Klipsch T5 II, but it comes in at 5.4 grams. So weight-wise of the earbuds, they are actually the same throughout. So in terms of comfort, I don't think the weight is going to be a problem. Now, this thing comes also with 6 beam-forming mics. What are beam-forming mics? Beam-forming mics means they are actually able to detect where the sound is coming from, and they will try to enhance the sound that is coming from that particular direction. So there are 6 here, 3 in each ear, and I will also let you have a listen to the recording quality. I'm putting them in my ears and I'm taking a walk outside, and just listen for yourself. This is the recording straight from the mics of these phones. Alright, so this is still a relatively quiet stretch of road, and you won't be seeing much action, at least on the roads. So no cars zooming past. The horn just went off. Don't know whether you can hear that. This is recording on the Klipsch T5 II ANC version. There will be people walking past and shuffling along. You might be able to hear something, you might not. Okay, so you will realize that actually the sound is pretty clear. Even if you are outdoor, your sound is being picked up very, very well. And if you notice the part on the car horns, actually it sounded like it was coming from somewhere pretty distant. So the whole recording quality, the mic quality from the 6 beam-forming mics in these earphones are actually pretty good. The battery case in itself, it provides it kind of like triples, or it provides 3 times more power. If you turn on ANC, the earbuds itself are going to last for 5 hours. Put them back in the case and they will provide another 15 hours, and that's a total of 20 hours of use time from one single charge. And talking about single charge, it takes USB-C connection right to the back, so you're not limited to the lightning cable anymore, which is the same as the Ugreen. Even something that's 10-12 times cheaper, it still uses USB-C. So USB-C is probably pretty ubiquitous, and moving forward is probably going to be the standard charging port for all intents and purposes for the foreseeable future. And it also supports wireless charging. So this rubber pad at the bottom, if you put it on a wireless charging mat with a Qi charger, it actually does charge as well. Same for the AirPods Pro. So what is special about this, which is not in the AirPods Pro, is the fact that it has this OS inside. It's called the Bragi OS. So I don't hear people talk about OS of a headphone or earphone. There simply isn't such a thing. They just call it the firmware. But what happens is that Klipsch will be rolling out new features when worked together with the app itself, which is Klipsch Connect, which you can download from Play Store or Apple Store, App Store. You will be able to control what these earphones can do for you. So one very, very interesting feature which I tried, you can actually set it such that it will motion detect. So when you're wearing it and a call comes in, you can nod your head and it will be able to pick up the call. Or if you want to hang up the call, you just shake your head. And that's it. So I haven't actually tried it extensively, but the couple of times that I've tried it, it actually works. I got somebody to call me and I nodded and it picked up, right? So that is something very interesting, and I can see Klipsch doing something pretty extensive over the next few years in order to leverage the power of Bragi OS, which you can customize these earpieces to do anything that you want to. And the other thing is that there is some automation feature inside. So when you talk about the AirPods Pro, you go into the settings of iOS and you do the settings there. But there's not really a hell lot more that you can control. Well, they have been improving it, so you can set the transparency mode. You can do a couple of things. You can even pick up conversations from far from where the phone is. But besides that, this particular one, you can even set it such that when a call comes in, it turns on transparency mode automatically. When you resume the music, it turns on ANC, the active noise cancelling, automatically. So when I'm using earpieces for calls, I want transparency mode so that I can hear myself talk, and I can control the volume slightly better and not just shout like, I was deaf and people couldn't hear me and start disturbing everybody else around you, especially if you are working from home. Well, actually, even if you are working from office, you don't want to be disturbing anybody else. So the Klipsch Connect app itself, it has EQ. It has a 7-band EQ, and you can control how loud the bass you want, how about the mid tones, and how about the treble tones. And you can control those. You can pull it up, you can pull it down. So that is a very useful feature to have. There are also presets EQ as well. And the whole connection takes place via Bluetooth 5.0, and it has enhanced, you won't be able to see it here very clearly, but basically the whole body of this, there is an antenna that is embedded into the body, which will extend the range of these earpieces from the phone. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about very quickly before I go on to talk about how the sound sounds like and how I like this as a earpiece is direct. So direct is, for those of you who are into home theater or who have been into home theater, direct is like Odyssey, right? Where they try to use a mic, they measure the test tones from bouncing around. And if you are familiar with my channel, you will know about Sonos. And Sonos has this function called TruePlay. So it cuts out some tones, it measures the response based on the room, and it tries to correct the sound. So Direct is actually one of those sound correction software, and it is baked into this Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. Now, I wanted to hear what Direct sounds like. So right after this break, I will tell you and share with you what I feel about Direct in the Klipsch T5 II. Okay, so Direct itself. When I turn it on, it feels like the soundstage is thrown beyond the confines of your head. You know, when you listen to earbuds or headphones, sometimes you feel that the sound is actually very close in within your skull, right? You're hearing the sound right somewhere in the middle. I can't quite describe it. But if you tried like an open earphones, like I was talking about the Beyerdynamics DT990 Pro recently, and the whole sound opens up. Sometimes there's some knocking, sometimes there's some treble or some instruments going off, and you are thinking that did that come from there behind me or right to the front of me, and it gives you that feeling. And this is what Direct does for the Klipsch T5 II. It will throw the mid-range and the treble slightly out and open a little bit. It doesn't quite affect the bass too much. Now, I have to talk about the bass on this guy. Now, I've earlier mentioned at the start of the video that Klipsch is known for loudspeakers, known for home theater speakers, and they have a couple of subwoofers, and one of their more popular subwoofer will be the R115SW. I hope I got the model right. It's a huge loudspeaker, is a huge subwoofer, and that enhances the bass response of your home theater setup multiple fold. And when you're sitting there, you're like, okay, I prefer to watch a movie at home with this subwoofer than to go to the movie theaters. And this is what I got from the bass response of these Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. When I can't obviously play the song because of copyright issues, and I don't want to flout any of this, but for those of you who know this song by Bass Mechanic, right, and it is called Bass I Love You. It is available on Spotify as with Apple Music or any number of platforms where you get your music from, but go to this song, Bass I Love You, right? At the 2-minute 42-second mark to the 2-minute 50-second mark, between these two, in this 8 seconds, you will hear subsonic bass that is coming out. Now, if you can't hear it, if you don't feel what I'm trying to express here, it means that the headphones or the earphones or whatever equipment that you are listening with is not picking it up or is not resolving it such that you don't feel it. But with this Klipsch T5 II, when it plays through that 8 seconds and you pick up those bass notes, the bass is really subsonic. It feels like someone put a subwoofer inside these guys and shove it into my ear canals. You can feel it in your gut. It's not supposed to, because it's just coming up from here, but the feel that you're getting from it is just that the subwoofer range response, the bass response of this guy is just simply mind-blowing. And you don't even have to turn on the direct or not, because like I mentioned, the direct software here, it doesn't quite impact the bass frequencies. It more or less changes the sound signature for the mid-tones as well as the treble, but not so much the bass. Okay, so in terms of ANC, the active noise cancelling, I would say that it is probably on par with the Apple AirPods Pro. Apple AirPods Pro actually is very dependent on a good seal, right? I have been using the Apple AirPods Pro, and when the silicone tip is slightly used, it feels that it loses that the conformity, right? And it's not able to provide a very good seal anymore. So I actually have since replaced those silicone tips from Apple with these Comply foam tips, and they provide a slightly better seal, but the bass response is actually not as great as what I would have wanted it to, because it just doesn't seal that well. And with a less than perfect seal, ANC, active noise cancelling, together with the passive noise cancelling, which is the physical seal itself, it actually doesn't deliver as great a noise cancelling capability as when it was new. I have been using this Klipsch T5 for a couple of weeks now, and I am happy to report that whenever I've been using them, the silicone tips, they have been holding up pretty well, and the seal is actually great. Now, it looks very big, but when you put it into your ear, it actually doesn't feel that big. Now, for those of you with maybe smaller ears, I would think that the size might actually press on the back of your ear slightly. I don't know whether you feel discomfort there, because this is, after all, a relatively large earbud in terms of physical dimension. So try it. I don't know, maybe if you can find a store and you don't mind trying whatever they have there, maybe just clean it down and rub down with alcohol before you try it on, and you can have a feel for yourself. For me, it actually fits perfectly. It fits very, very well. And like I said, the weight is actually on par with the rest, 5.3, 5.4 grams per earpiece. And that is it. The battery itself weighs next to nothing, 5 grams. Come on, 5 grams here, 5 grams there, you're not going to feel it. So maybe I'll talk a little bit about one possible problem that you might have with these guys, is that the vocals for podcasts, right? The vocals for podcasts, they're not going to sound as great as the Apple AirPods Pro. In fact, when it actually comes to vocals and podcasts, listening to podcasts, I actually do use the AirPods Pro still. I mean, because I have them anyway, because the voice just sounds a lot more natural. For the Klipsch, I think they are made for really musical performance is really up there. So when someone is singing as opposed to when someone is talking, it sounds great. It's musical. The sound is involving. It invokes emotions and feeling. But when it comes to podcasts, when it comes to the spoken voice, it just doesn't sound as natural. And related to this point is also the transparency mode. Transparency mode is not as strong as on the Apple AirPods Pro. So if you're out for full transparency mode, in fact, I think with a recent firmware update, Apple AirPods Pro went overboard with the transparency. It allowed you to amplify the external sound so much that it seems that you are wearing hearing aids. So if you are doing that, and if you have turned up the transparency to such a level, you can actually be picking up fan noise, or even when the air conditioner is running, you will be able to hear the whole hum, a lot clearer. And sometimes when I take off the AirPods Pro and I realize, actually the room is actually quieter than what I was made to believe when I'm using the AirPods Pro for calls or for podcasts. Whereas for the Klipsch, it is they're not going overboard with the transparency mode, so it does let through the sound. There's very little latency, and when you tap the table, you can actually hear it if you turn on the transparency mode. If you are on ANC mode, then of course there's not much difference. It's just that the transparency mode, if you're after that particular feature, it won't be the strongest suite of the Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. And the last point that I'm going to be bringing up is the whole application. Klipsch Connect in itself, it is the app is full of features, full of functionalities, just a tad slow. So when you're trying to navigate the whole app, you will feel that I think they are trying to reload and reconnect to the earpiece through Bluetooth every time you're accessing a functionality. So it does feel like it does feel a little bit laggy in terms of the app, but that is not something that can't be changed. I'm sure when they improve the app, like how they have done with the Sonos S2 13.3.3, that particular release, that particular version actually made the app, the whole S2 app, a lot snappier. Navigation between the pages, between functionalities was so much faster. So that is the kind of things that I try to cover. If you are interested in this kind of content when it comes to audiophile, especially wireless audio products, do stay subscribed to my channel. And that is all I have to say for the Klipsch T5 II ANC edition. And I'll see you in my next video.